everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar tonight. My name is Kira Robinson, and I am a Community Engagement Intern for Dysautonomia International. A few housekeeping notes before we begin. Your video and microphones are not enabled during a Zoom webinar. If you would like to use closed captioning, refer to the bottom of your Zoom screen and choose the CC option. You can choose how you wish to view the closed captioning on your personal device. If you wish to turn this off, there is a small area next to the CC button. Choose Hide Subtitles. You can type questions for our guest speaker using the Zoom Q&A tool. Please keep your questions relevant to the topic being discussed and general in nature. We are unable to address personal medical advice questions. Please do not share any confidential information in the questions. I have the pleasure of introducing tonight's presenter. Shannon Williams of Nourish Therapeutic Yoga is a certified yoga teacher who specializes in adapting therapeutic yoga for those with dysautonomia, chronic fatigue, and chronic pain. Her passion is adapting yoga to meet your body where it is at in order to empower those with chronic health conditions to successfully participate without exacerbating their symptoms. Shannon's classes are inspired by her own experience living with a complex autoimmune disease, and she hopes to share with you the many benefits this mind-body practice can bring. Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you. Okay, thanks, guys. I'm so glad you're here. And firstly, I want to thank Dysautonomia International for organizing this event. I'm so grateful to them and all the hard work they do for us. So everybody that's here, if it's possible to get a pillow, I'm going to recommend you have that for our practice today. It can be a nice prop to have. You can use any pillow from your bed, couch, anything of that nature. You may want to have something under your neck. And at one point, we are going to use that as a prop as well. So you may need to gather that now. And the whole class will be done supine, laying down, unless you prefer to have it seated. And first, I just want to welcome you all here to this amazing community. I'm inspired and in awe of how resilient we all are and how strong our community is, rallying together from all over the world despite this chronic condition and other illnesses and never giving up. So, since there's such a range of functionality with these various illnesses and dysautonomia, I've tried to make this class as accessible as possible so nobody knows your body better than you, and only do what feels good. And remember, the goal is not to push yourself, it's to meet your body where it's at and give it some compassion, because that's where the real magic happens. And I'm going to invite us all now to lay down if you are available to do that in your space. You're going to want to have some room around your arms and your legs to be able to stretch out. And it can be nice. You can either decide to start with your feet flat and your knees bent, or to place that pillow underneath the knees to take some pressure off the low back. So if you have really disabling fatigue, this is where you're going to begin. And you can decide how much of the practice you will participate in. So let's get settled. And maybe even soften the gaze or close your eyes if that's available. Let's just check in and notice your breath for a moment here. There's no right or wrong. You're just simply taking a snapshot and noticing how it's flowing in your system today. And then let's take your left hand and place it on the center of your chest, and your other hand and place it on your lower belly with your thumb on your belly button. And just spread those fingers out so it can be on the lower abdomen. And again, we're just going to check in and notice which hand seems to be moving more with your breath right now. There's no right or wrong. Is it the chest or the belly or both? And then release the top hand from the chest, leaving the hand on the lower belly, and see if you can consciously draw your breath into this belly. So nice, slow, steady breath. Feeling the belly swell. And this cues our nervous system to relax. And letting that hand go now and bending the knees with the feet flat. Let's take our arms out to the sides with the palms facing up. And this is a really nice thing to do for POTS orthostatic, is to get the blood pumping. So let's start with the hands and make gentle little fists. And then splay the fingers open. And let's do the same thing with your feet. So you're scrunching up those feet and then splaying the toes long. Okay. And let's do that both now. So hands and feet into fists and then splaying them open. And do that again. So we're pumping the blood out of our extremities into our large muscles. You can do this a couple times. This is always nice to do if you've been standing for a long period. And one more time, breathing in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, and letting the arms fall to the sides. So we are going to start with our necks and shoulders, getting some range of motion here. So coming into your chin, having your nose pointing at the ceiling, let's draw the chin slightly up. And now we'll draw the chin so it's slightly coming down towards your chest. If you're hypermobile or have EDS, you're going to make this movement really small. So you're just gliding it up and down like you're making a small yes. Okay, good. So this time we're going to include the shoulders with it. So as you draw your chin up, glide those shoulders up towards your ears. So you're scrunching everything in. Exhale, let everything draw back down to neutral. Okay, we'll do that again. Breathing in, drawing the shoulders in, jutting the chin up. Exhaling, gliding that back down, releasing all muscles, all holding. And one more time. Breathing in, drawing up, exhaling, release, release, release. Nice work. Okay, so this is something that's called sun breaths, where we're coming into the arms and the shoulders. Now, if you are particularly fatigued or have shoulder pain, one variation would be to bend at the elbows so that your arms stay on the surface and just glide your hands into a circle kind of towards your body. If you have the availability to do full sun breath, you'll sweep the arms up overhead, placing the hands towards each other at the top of your head into a prayer hand, and then glide them down towards your chest. And that's one full movement. So let's take the breath, if you can, breathing in, whichever variation you've chosen that's right for your body. Exhaling. And one more time. Really sense and feel all the movements through your arms, your shoulders, even your back. Then when you have completed that, allowing the arms to come back to their sides. and placing the palms up if that's comfortable. So we've worked on the top of the upper back and shoulders. We're going to come into the spine and the pelvis. So this is similar in yoga to cat-cow, but I'm going to show you how you can do this laying on your back. So check in with your hips, feeling that tailbone on the low floor or your bed. You're going to roll your hips forward and arch the low back so the tailbone tips down. And then you're going to release, 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 nice and easy back to the neutral position. Now we'll take it the opposite way. So flattening the low back into the surface, your stomach muscles will engage. And then again, release, release, nice and easy. So all those little muscles have an opportunity to let go. Okay, so we'll guide the breath with it this time. Breathing in, arching the tailbone down, low back arches, feel the expansion in the chest. Exhaling, release, release, release. Inhaling, flattening into your surface. Hips come up. Exhale, release, release, release. One more time, in your own time, or pausing for rest if you need to go long. Gives the spine an opportunity for all the vertebrae to have some movement. And when you are complete with that, this could be a nice time, if it's available in your system, to draw those knees in towards you, wrapping your arms around them just for a little bundle roll. And gently rock side to side if that should feel good. Nice, slow, deep breath in through the nose. Exhaling, letting the feet come back down. The feet will be flat on the surface again. And we're going to come into our legs now. So starting with the left leg, let's draw that knee in towards your chest, placing the hands around the shin. Okay, so you're going to gently glide your knee in towards your chest and then let it go back to its original position. So just take this movement a couple times. We're warming up the hip flexors. We're getting some lubrication in this area. And then we're going to extend the leg. Now, first variation would be to have the leg long and just simply flex the foot back and forth to lengthen the muscles along the back leg. The higher load version would be to place your hands behind your thigh and extend the leg long to give that hamstring and calf muscles a stretch. Bend through the knee to release. And then flex and extend. So whichever variation you're choosing, you want this movement to feel good, where you're getting like a nice stretch and release, but no gripping or pain. So take your time to find that sweet spot. And then allow that knee now to come down to the side. Let's press both feet into the surface for a moment, into a little bridge. So your bottom's going to come up just an inch off the surface. And release. So hopefully you have that pillow nearby. This isn't necessary. This is an option for our tree pose. So we're going to take the right leg long and the left leg will be bent. So place the sole of the foot towards your ankle on the right, and then glide that foot up to where it feels like you're having an opening through your groin and your thigh, but it's not too intense. So to make it a little more comfortable, you can place a pillow under the knee to support you. You can also slide the foot towards the ankle if you needed less intense of a stretch. So really play in your body to find that sweet spot. And then once you've found it, come into the arms, the branches of our tree, and see if you are craving comfort. It might be nice to have your hands on your body. If you want to open the chest, take the arms out to the sides into a T with the palms up. And if you want to intensify this stretch, you can even allow the arms to come overhead into like a cactus arm, making sure your shoulders and pelvis are situated on the surface so they're not raised. Let's take a nice, slow cleansing breath in through the nose, sighing it out through the mouth. Nice. One more full breath here, in through the nose again. And really sigh it out. Let it be an opportunity to let go of any stress in the body. Okay, so inhaling in. As you exhale, extending the leg long and moving that prop, if you have it, to the opposite side. Okay, so now we're going to come back into our constructive rest with our feet flat on the surface, our knees bent, and we'll work on the right leg. So, drawing that knee in towards the chest, just like before. You're just going to slowly tick-tock it back and forth to get some nice lubrication of the joints. Okay, and then we're coming into that leg extension for the back of the hamstring and the calf muscles. So leg will be long and toes will be flexing back and forth as one variation, or hands behind the thigh and flexing the foot this way and drawing the knee in and extending long. So you decide what feels good in your system, or pausing for rest if you're becoming fatigued. And taking one final breath here. And again, letting that leg come back down, extending this time the left leg to go long and taking the right leg, the foot to the insole of the ankle. And again, sliding that foot up the leg to see where's that just right tree pose for you today in your system. And then seeing if you want to have that prop there for support or to intensify the stretch, not to have it there. And this side may feel different, which is totally okay. So play with the arms and see what feels good. What is going to have a nice opening but not have gripping is that sweet spot for the nervous system. And nice, slow, deep breaths, seeing if you can relax your jaw and your shoulders. Nice, slow, deep breath in through the nose. Exhaling it through the mouth, nice and slow. One more time, inhaling through the nose. And this time as you exhale, let the leg go long. And let's take up space. Let's come into a starfish. So letting the legs come away from the body, feet dip out to the sides, arms stretched out overhead if that's available. And just sense and feel how your system feels now that you've had some movement. Now that you've opened the body and got some blood flow going, and let's clench those fists and feet again. Inhaling in, exhaling, releasing and splaying them long. Inhaling, clenching them in, exhaling, splaying them long. And in your own time, nice and easy, so your blood pressure has an opportunity to settle, I'm going to invite you to come onto your side for our final pose. I'm going to show you two options because coming onto hands and knees for pots can be hard. So if you know that's available to you, you can take a forward lying child's. If you're wanting to come into a side lying child's, simply draw your knees in towards you a little bit so that the low back curls and rounds. And then you're going to lengthen through your torso up and curl yourself inwards. So there's like, imagine this mini rainbow in your spine. And then lastly, take the palm of your hand and place it on your forehead. And this is a side lying child. So take some nice, slow, cleansing breaths here in whatever posture suits you today. Slow and steady. And then nice and slowly unfurl from that position. And we're going to make our way into our Shavasana. So I'm coming up seated, but you will probably be wanting to be laying down for your Shavasana, which is our guided meditation. And if this is your first time doing it, I would recommend something under your knees for support, something under your head for support. If you wanted a little inversion, you could put a couple pillows under your legs so that your legs are up a little bit. So you do what feels good in your system. If you had a blanket to cover you or an eye covering to block out light, that's a wonderful thing to have now. And all you need is to deeply rest. And I'm going to guide us into our meditation. Take a moment now and just allow your breath to settle you. Breathing slowly and deeply in through the nose and softly out through the mouth. Just following the rhythm of your breath. Allowing it to drop you into the surface beneath you. Relaxing and releasing and just letting go. Letting it all go. Unfurling your brow. Softening your cheeks. And just letting your jaw soften. Allowing it to unclench. And even letting your tongue gently lie on the bottom of your mouth. And feeling the back of your head well supported and safe beneath you. Following down your neck to your shoulders. And just letting those shoulders fall a little bit more into the surface beneath you. Taking your next deep breath in and releasing those shoulders, letting them drift and drop. And just let go. And following that relaxing sensation all through your back, into the muscles around your spine, and down through your pelvis and into your hips. And taking your next breath and bring that into your hips and lower belly. And allowing everything to go soft and loose. All the way down your legs, right to your ankles and the soles of your feet. And next, we're going to try a new breath practice, which is breathing in for the count of 4 and exhaling for the count of 6. And I will guide you for the first few breath cycles here. And if at any time your breathing becomes short or uncomfortable, just please resume your regular breath. So let's begin by breathing in for the count of 4, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And continue on your own. Bring all your attention to the counting of your breath. This slow, steady, conscious breathing relaxes our system and activates the parasympathetic branch of our nervous system, known as the rest and digest. Just allow your breath to resume its natural breathing now. And I will go silent to allow you a moment here for deep rest and guide you back when it's time to rejoin our day. Take a nice cleansing breath in and letting go of your practice now. Bringing any gentle movements into the fingers or the toes. And take a nice stretch in any way your body may be craving. Take a moment to give yourself gratitude for doing something good for your body and your mind and looking after yourself today with your community. And I'm going to invite you to place your hands somewhere on your body as we close in our community together. And I send you light, I send you peace. Namaste. And thanks so much for joining our class. Feel free to roll to the side and get comfortable. I was going to give just a little short presentation on the yoga that we do, and I'd be happy to answer any questions after that. And thanks again, everyone, for coming. I hope the class was something of your interest. I know for some this was probably too easy, and for others it might have been too hard. It's quite a variation for our conditions. But the best thing, even if it was easy for you, is this is really designed to activate the sympathetic, parasympathetic part of your nervous system. So it's so important when dealing with conditions like this. And like many of you, my previous healthy self was incredibly active. And since becoming ill, I attempted various activities only to find they were simply not attainable. And that was even yoga. And I know this experience is too common in our community, so I decided to build Nourish for Us. And I became a certified yoga teacher and used my training to specialize in adapting therapeutic and restorative yoga for our specific needs. So that means poses are not held for long periods, have minimal repetitions, transitions between poses are slow, and all classes can be done lying down or seated. And like I said, at the core of all my classes is balancing the nervous system. So each week we have a live virtual class on Wednesdays, and we rally from our beds and yoga mats from all over the world. And we do a variation of therapeutic yoga that are all POTS friendly and adapted. And modifications are shown so you have the option to choose what exertion level is best for you. And since being connected is crucial to well-being, Nourish also includes social engagement every week. There's the opportunity to stay after class, and we have a community chat, and we get to share our experiences, strategies, and connect in a safe, supportive way within a positive environment of other like-minded bodies and people who get what living with these illnesses are like. And if you can't make live classes, there's an on-demand video library. So this is unlimited access to all recorded videos anytime, anywhere. And they have been categorized by a spoon level, which is like an energy system, allowing you to choose what best fits your needs and energy levels on any given day. So there's a selection of yoga styles and practices ranging from 5 minutes to 45 minutes, lying down in bed, seated, and standing. And there's also a monthly membership that is an all-inclusive membership, and that includes all the live classes and the on-demand video library. And this is our most popular one. It's really good for people looking to get into a routine. So I'm thanking you once last time for being here and listening to me blather on. I hope this is something you found that could be useful for you in your toolkit for looking after yourself. For all the participants today, I'm offering a free yoga class. So you just need to go to the website, nourishtherapeuticyoga.com, and in your checkout, use the promo code POTS. And I think Charlotte was going to add that into the chat so people could have that. So I think that's it for me. And thanks again for being here. And I hope to see you again soon. And thanks to Dysautonomia International.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that wonderful guided class. We have time to take a few questions from the audience. And for the questions, our first one here asks, any recommendations to overcome exercise intolerance?
Yes. This is kind of what these classes are for. Now, depending on your severity level, I would start low and start at 50% of your capacity till you find a way to see what works for you. And if you're very severe, it might even be starting with visualizing the movement and doing breath practices and guided meditation, just to get yourself ready for the other movements at a later time when that's available.
Awesome. And then the next question asks, is there a range in between the leg long for foot extension and flexion and having the leg elevated at 90 degrees to stretch the calf if you have tight hamstrings?
I would probably suggest then to either use a strap so you're not going to the full 90 degrees, make it a little less intense and use the weight of different parts of your body instead of just being on the leg. You're using your arms then too, and don't go all the way high. So maybe you go 45 degrees. And if you need help holding that position, you could always put props under your leg so you don't have to go all the way back down too.
Great. Another question here. What should you do for low back pain when you are lying on your back, or if you have a large arc in your low back from a large bottom, etc.?
Using props is going to be really helpful. So for the low back, the higher the knees are, the less the pain is on the low back because you're having them supported and it's not pulling as much. But maybe laying on your side and doing that arch and flatten that we were doing, but on the side first to get the muscles released before you come onto the back. So there's a few ways to get around it to get that area available, hopefully, first before going right into the laying on your back.
And the next question here, what supine movements would you recommend for a more strength-focused class for POTS?
I would say this was, if I were to say, a version of spoon levels. So I kind of used mine from 1 to 4 spoon levels. This is like a 2 spoon version. So you'd be looking more into a 3 or a 4 spoon where you would be holding the elevation of the legs for longer. You'd be doing more repetitions. And then we'd be using the leg in different variations. So laying on the side to get into the other muscles as well, where you're kind of scissoring the legs or doing clamshells. So there's a lot of ways to do supine strength building, all being done lying down for the arms, the legs, everything.
And with a few adapted yoga class sessions I have participated in, I have noticed my heart rate drops during the majority of the yoga session, but jumps tachycardic during the guided meditation. Any thoughts on this? Is this something others have commonly experienced?
That's an interesting one. I have to say that's the first time I've heard that exact thing. My thought is, I wonder if your mind's starting to go because you're not focused on the movements anymore and you're focusing on being still. Or if it's the position you're in, if laying that way is triggering to have a higher heart rate, and maybe playing with seeing if you could get yourself into those more cozy positions, and a weighted item placed on you might help drop that heart rate down as well. So there's a few different things you can play with to get that. And I commend you for noticing it too.
Our next question asks, do you also recommend any breathing programs?
Oh, yes. Breathing, I mean, is probably one of the most important things we can do, and it's free and there's no side effects. So anything you can do where you can get your breath into that lower diaphragmatic breathing, and so your lower belly breath, and where you're not gasping in for the air. Sometimes when people hear take a deep breath, they go, and that's not what we want. We want this slow, steady, muscles relaxed breath. And there's several different breath practices in yoga that we can do there's a bumblebee breath where you hum your exhale. So you breathe in through the nose, then you breathe out and you hum, and it's really nice for the vagus nerve. So there's all sorts of breath work practices that we do that really help with bringing more blood flow and also just calming the nervous system.
And our next question is asking, the pain is very severe in my lower spine due to a different disease. Can all poses be done sitting or in another position?
Yes, definitely. Most. Sometimes, like, it might be where I'm demonstrating it laying down, but you could still do it seated. And sometimes I even have it like a chair class for people who can't have it lying down at all. So in your body, if that's what suits you best, all of these poses can be adapted to it being seated, and I would recommend that.
And we also have a question asking, do your classes consider hypermobility with movements?
Yes, definitely. We have a few people with EDS and cervical instability. So for this group of people, I really recommend that any of the movements are micro movements and you're focusing on the muscle as opposed to the joint. And none of the classes have these grand sweeping movement to movement. They're very slow, so you have the opportunity to notice and sense and feel how far you're going into a stretch. I'm not big into heavy stretches because it's not about forcing into this or going too deep. So it's a really good practice, therapeutic yoga, this style, somatic yoga. All these styles are kind of more geared to people with that.
And any recommendations to make supine yoga more comfortable for someone with a full spinal fusion?
Oh, yes. It will be experimenting, to be honest. Especially if you could have somebody help you by putting different props under different parts of the body to see where you can release some of the gripping and be supported, but allow the body to be more relaxed. I don't have a full do XYZ because it's so specific, that question, and it's so specific to your body. I'd be happy if you send me an email to try and delve into it a little more with you, or feel free to try a class and just make sure you only do what's right for that condition.
Perfect. That concludes our question period here. Thank you again, Shannon, for presenting such an accessible exercise class for us tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We hope you have a great evening.